Very good morning, students. I welcome you all for the MATLAB uh, program, like MATLAB application lab program 4. The program you have to design and develop a wallpaper application. So this is the question which is given. Now you have to develop an application to set an image as a wallpaper. You have to click the button and wallpaper images should start change randomly for every second. So here you all can see like I have downloaded in the desktop around 4 images. You have to save the images either with respect to JPEG or JPG or PNG. These are the 3 formats it is going to support. In the desktop, you all can see I have saved 1, 2, 3, 4. These are the 4 images I have saved. And this I am going to copy and paste it in the drawable folder. This is the first thing you have to do because you have to change the wallpaper. So once that is being done, so this is the given program. So you have to set an image as a wallpaper, and on clicking the button, the wallpaper image should start changing randomly for every second. So in order to perform this, you have to do the design. First, you have to create an application with your convenient name. Here I have given wallpaper activity. Secondly, once you start an Android Studio, after creating the name to an application, you have to go to the XML code. There you have to change the layout to relative layout. That means you will be moving the cursor 2 sides. Cursor will be moved with respect to 2 sides. You have to fix the relative layout. Once it is been done, you have to add the text view. So in the text view, you can give the text name attribute as wallpaper application, and size you can give 38 dB, and you should align it center. Later, you have to add the button and give the text name as click here to change wallpaper and give the size as 38. Once it is been done, the important step here you have to remember is you have to download like 4 to 5 images. Here I have written 5 images. Give the convenient name and copy, paste and save it in the drawable folder. You have to do this. This is the additional step. Once it is been done, now you have to move to the Java part. In the Java part, you all can see first, you have to declare the variables. These are the variables which is required for the program. Here you all can see, since we are working with the button like on click listener button. So that is why we are using the built-in class button, and this is the variable which I'm using. This will be used as a reference everywhere, change wallpaper. And next, since picture or screensaver should change every 30 seconds, that is why timer is required. So here I'm using the timer as a class, and my time is the variable which will be defined as a reference for timer. And as you all know that we are working with the drawable folder, this program is completely dependent on drawable folder. The image has to be converted to bitmap. That is why drawable class is required, and it is stored in drawable variable which is declared as drawable. Next, you all know that we are using predefined service or inbuilt service which is available in the package, that is wallpaper manager. You have to change the wallpaper. That is why we are using the built-in service wallpaper manager, and variable is WPM. So here we have to traverse from first image to fifth image. That is why here I'm declaring one variable called previous. Initially the value will be stored as 1. So this is majorly used for traversing from one first image to fifth image. That is why you require one variable value called 1. And here you have to remember camel case naming convention. Camel case naming convention is nothing but in this variable, the change wallpaper, the first letter you all can see it is in uppercase. If you don't use the camel case convention, then it will throw warning. Warning can be neglected, but it is better if you use camel case naming convention. Once it is been done, next you have to recognize the button. You have to recognize the timer. So how do you recognize the timer? First, you should recognize the timer. So here you should call the timer. New timer is the method. You should call the timer, then only timer will, since you are changing 30 seconds, you have to declare the method called timer. Next, you have to call the wallpaper manager get instance. That means in this activity, wallpaper manager should be called, and you have to get instance means you're calling that and you're passing context of this Java application. You have to call the method get instance that will be stored in wallpaper manager. Next, you are passing the identification, that how you are going to identify the component. So for the button, so we are passing that ID. So if you want to identify any particular component, then you have to call the method find view by ID. So button will be the reference and it will be stored in change wallpaper. So these are the initial recognition you have to do initially. You should call the timer and you should call get instance method to pass the context of this application. Then you have to pass the ID of the particular component which you're going to add. Now your logic will start. So when the user clicks the button, set on click listener, action listener will get initiated, and by default it will call an overridden method called on click. Here I'm using the build like user defined method. You can also write this entire set wallpaper logic here only, but since various braces will be there, so that it leads to an confusion, that is why here I'm using set wallpaper is a uh, method, user defined method, which I'm defining. So the logic for the user defined method, here you have, so once the user clicks the action listener, okay, set on click listener will start. Then set wallpaper, it will ask you to create a method. So method applicable only for this program activity, that is why here it is private. So first we'll call the timer every 30 seconds, the wallpaper should start. So that is why you have to call the method schedule. When you call the method schedule, so automatically overridden run method will arrive. So if previous is equals to 1, we'll call the drawable where all the images is being placed. So you're going to call, if when previous is equals to 1, you're calling the first image. Get drawable will get that image and get resources, where this complete line will get will call the images which has to be placed. The first image will be called over here. So the first logo will appear on the wallpaper when you call this. Again, the previous has been updated to 2. And wallpaper will arrive in the form of bitmap. Next, previous will be 2. Next, you're calling the second image. Get drawable will call the second image, whatever you have stored, and you're updating the previous value to 3. And again, previous value will set to 3. Again, if we are here, we are using the else if ladder. Again, you're calling the third image and previous value will get updated to 4. Similarly, fourth image, you're calling the fourth image from the drawable folder. If previous value will get updated to 5. Similarly, fifth image, you're calling the fifth image and previous value, again, it's a cycle. It will reach to previous is equals to 1. So here we call the bitmap. Okay, while running, like we are storing the image in the form of bitmap. That is why you should use the class bitmap. Wallpaper is the object. Okay, so drawable is there in this bitmap drawable folder. You will call the get bitmap. So when you use this line, why we are using this line is nothing but to display the image in the form of bitmap. So whenever you are using the line, you will get an exception. To avoid that exception, there might be a chances of exception. To avoid that, you are using try and catch. So in the try, we are using set bitmap and we are passing that wallpaper. And in the catch, if any exception arrives from the print stack trace, it is going to display an error message. Okay, this is what you're going to do. And here you all can see we have a delay 0. We have a delay 0. That means we are not waiting for any second. And this is 30,000 milliseconds. 30,000 milliseconds is equals to 30 seconds. This is the code and this is how you're going to get the output. So we'll see it line by line. We'll see the execution line by line. So what is the first step? You have to go to file, new project, select empty activity and give next. Here I'm giving wallpaper activity. This is the name which I'm giving. Finish. So 2 supporting files will get loaded. One is XML file and one more is Java file. As you all can see, go to the XML file. It is loading. So once you create the file, what is the second step? The second step is So still it is loading. So now we have to do the design. Yes. Now see, when you click the RES folder, you will get a drawable folder. What I'll do, I'll just copy paste all the images. See here, right click in the drawable folder and paste. See, automatically when you click 1 to JPG image arrived. Similarly, copy and paste. Similarly, copy and paste the fourth image. So once it is done, now this is the first step you have to do. And next, move to the activity XML, go to the code part and change the layout to relative layout. So here you should change to, a relative layout. So IntelliSense will arrive, automatically select the IntelliSense. So just select this before XMLNS and delete this and just type capital R, automatically IntelliSense will arrive. Select relative layout. Once you select the relative layout, okay, now you have fixed the layout, move to the design part. Now move to the design part. Here, you drag and drop the text view, fix the relative layout, and here you give the name as wallpaper application as a text name. See, place the cursor in your convenient place and click here and give the text name as, click here, give the attribute as wallpaper application. The same name will arrive, and increase the size. Increase the size to your convenient size and adjust this design. Once it is been done, next you have to drag and drop the button because user has to click. So here, fix the relative layout. The second component which I'm adding is the button. Okay, once it is been done, give the text name. Click here to change wallpaper. This is the name which I'm giving, and increase the size. You can select the attribute and you can give the size. So this is the design part. This is the design part. Once the design part is being done, now you have to move to the Java. So in the Java part, after public class main activity extends app compact activity, you have to declare the variables. So here I have already told you have to use button as the class. You have to use button as the class. So here I'm using button. So IntelliSense will arrive. I'm declaring the variable as C, my convenient variable I'm using. Similarly, timer. So timer, and I'm declaring as T for as a reference. Then you require drawable, and I'm declaring it as D. And similarly, you require a wallpaper manager, capital W you should use. So wallpaper manager, I am using the wallpaper manager as WPM as my reference. So these are the variables which is required, and these are the built-in classes which is required for my program. So next, I am declaring I have to traverse from first image to fourth image. That is why I am declaring int previous is equals to 1, or I can declare n is equals to 1 to traverse. So these are all the variables that is required for my program. So button, because since we are working with the button and timer, you all know 30 seconds it will be changed, and images are there in the drawable folder, and wallpaper manager is the inbuilt service where actually it changes the wallpaper. And to traverse from first image to another fourth image, we are using one variable called n is equals to 1, which indicates we are in first image. When n is equals to 2, it indicates we are in the like wallpaper will change to the second image. After that, we have to recognize the timer. First, we have to recognize the timer. So as you all know that after set content view, you have to call the timer T. Now T is the timer. You have to call new is the dynamic memory allocation. It will call the timer. Next, you have to call get instance with respect to wallpaper manager. And you should pass context of this Java program. Next, you have to call find view by ID to identify the component. So the same ID you should use. Next, you should call on click listener. So automatically you'll get a overridden method. So here you should call the built-in user defined method called set wallpaper. So initially you'll get an error once you define. So once you define separately, if you're writing the logic, it will automatically change. It will automatically change. So next, you have to write logic for that set wallpaper. So private private void set wallpaper. So here I'm defining the method. Next, you have to write the logic within this. Next, T is the timer dot schedule. It call the timer task method. So automatically run will get overridden. So if n is equals to 1, we are calling the image So here I have declared D. So you have to use the same variable. D is equals to get resources dot get drawable. So or dot id dot 1. That means you're calling the first image. Like ONE1. Or dot drawable you have to use because it is there in drawable folder. Drawable dot 1. See, now it appeared. Similarly, you update n value to 2. So here I'm using else if ladder. Else if n is equals to 2, Else if n is equals to 2, which image we are calling? Second image. Get resource dot get drawable or dot drawable dot 2 and update n to 3. Next, else if n is equals to 3, we are calling the third image. Get resources dot get drawable or dot drawable dot 3. Third image we are calling and update n value to 4. Similarly, else if n value is equals to 4, d is equals to get resources dot get drawable or dot drawable dot 4. So here it should be 3 because we are calling the third image. So once you are done with fourth image, once you call the fourth image, I'm again moving on to the first image. When you initialize n is equals to 1, you are again moving on to the first image. So once it is been done, next you should call the bitmap, class bitmap. So bitmap, because we are saving the image with respect to bitmap. Wallpaper, bitmap, drawable, which is there in the folder, drawable. So bitmap wallpaper is equals to bitmap drawable you have to use the drawable dot get bitmap. So here you have to use drawable. So once you close, automatically it will be correct. Dot get bitmap. So when you use this line, you may get error. So what you have to do, you have to use try catch. So when you are using try, you are setting the wallpaper. So WPM dot set bitmap wallpaper. You are setting the image. So you will get it in red color. You have to take the permission here. You have to click see when you use this line, when you are setting the bitmap, that means you are converting the image to the bitmap. So you have, when you're using this, you have to take, since the images are will be stored, it is a system application, you have to take the permission. You have to right click and you have to select show context action, add permission. See, automatically that error will get removed. So after that, you have to use catch. catch IO exception. E is the variable. E dot print stack trace. If any error is there from print stack trace method, it is going to print the error message. So this is your program. So here you all can see here. So first we are initializing the variables. Next we are recognizing the variables. Next we are calling the user defined method. Here we have written the logic run method. When the user calls run, it will call the first image, and it will call the second image, and it will call the third image, it will call the fourth image, and image should be converted to the bitmap, and delay we should give here 0. Delay we should give here 0, and 30,000 milliseconds is equals to 30 seconds. This is what you have to type. Once it is been done, now I'll execute this program. So click emulator. So Gradle build is running. So now here I have saved 4 images. So automatically the 4 images will change for every 30 seconds. So still the Gradle build is running. You have to wait until all the built-in services get executed with respect to the application. It is launching. Now launch is succeeded. You will get children. You have to get the message like this: launch succeeded. See, now this is what I have designed, and the same wallpaper application arrived here. To check the output, user has to click here to change wallpaper, and you have to exit from this application by clicking here. So once you're exiting, so you will get the images. If this is the first image, after 30 seconds, it will change. The first image. So after 30 seconds, the wallpaper will change to the second image. See, second image arrived, the college logo which I have added. So how much ever portion it will fit to this mobile, that much portion only it is taking. This is the second image, college logo. After 30 seconds, one more image will get added. This is the third image which I have saved in the form of JPG. See, now wallpaper is getting changed. Next one is the fourth image. After this, you will get the fourth image. After fourth, again it will move to the first image. See, it has moved to the first image. Hope you all have understood. Thank you all.